Hey, everybody. Marissa V. Grayson here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a child custody and family law attorney, a mediator, and a co-parent coach, also known as America's Blended Family Expert. Some of you may know me as a custody consultant. Either way, thank you for tuning in to Talk to Me Tuesday, where I talk to you about all of your pressing child custody, family court, child support, blended family, co-parenting questions that you have. I select at least 3 questions each week and answer them on video. Today, I will be answering 3 questions. If your question was already submitted and I don't get to yours today, just have a little patience. I will get to it hopefully in the next week or so. I have received a lot of questions. One week, I'm actually going to hop on and do a live and just answer all of the questions. But for today, I'm answering 3. And before I jump right in, I have to give my disclaimer. None of the information in this video is considered legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship. So the information that I'm sharing in this video is for informational purposes only. It's legal information, not legal advice. I am not your lawyer unless you pay me to be. All right, so let's dive right in. Number 1 is, my husband had an affair, and with that we gained twins. We have a daughter and have been together for 6 years. The mother of twins is desperately in love with him and refuses to allow the children in our home and demands that he stay the night there, 20 miles from home, in order to see the children. She guilts him every time we have a family outing, holiday, adventure, and she wants him present for all holidays in her home, several nights a week in her home, and will not allow the children into our home. She is trying to gain a family with a man she had an affair with and is now killing our marriage to do so. In order for him to see the kids, he does whatever she wants. I can't take it anymore. Our family is suffering. Our child is suffering. Our finances are suffering over a woman who has an affair and thinks she can co-wife. Life is a disaster. I can't take it anymore. So, problems. Problem number 1. You say that she won't allow the children in your home. So to me, that sounds like there probably is not any kind of child custody or visitation order in place, which is a problem. If the 2 of them are no longer together and you are in a marriage, then it's going to be extremely important for someone to go and file. My suggestion is obviously going to be him for child custody and visitation orders, because if you don't have any orders, then she has the option to quote unquote not let the children come to your home. If you get some child custody and visitation orders, then that's something that the court can, basically make orders and say, yes, the children can go and visit him wherever he is and be around his family and all of that good stuff. But let me tell you, the idea and the idea of him having no choice but to see these children at her home is a problem, because this is something that's, it's very common. It happens a lot where people will demand that if you want to see your kids, you got to come over here and I'm going to supervise the visits, or you can only see them on my terms, my way, in my home, when I say, on my schedule. I know how it goes. But the reality is that, unfortunately, in this situation, he is going to have to take control and make sure that he sets boundaries for himself so that he's not feeling like he has no choice but to do everything that she says, because obviously that's putting a big problem into your marriage, right? So that is going to be the number 1 solution, is he's going to have to step it up, and he's going to have to seek some court intervention if she's not willing to, fluctuate and be flexible and understanding to the fact that he's married. So, yeah. That's pretty much the solution. He needs child custody and visitation orders. He needs to request that he's not required to do these visits at her home or even in her presence, depending on the age of the children. Supervision probably should not be necessary unless there's like domestic violence or, some craziness like that. It sounds like he already has some familiarity with these children. So it really should be easy breezy. At the end of the day, it's going to take some time. It's going to be a process, but you're not going to be able to complete the process if he doesn't start. So that is my suggestion to you. Yeah, he needs those custody and visitation orders ASAP. Question number 2, submitted on my Instagram DMs, is, what do you do when you are blackmailed by an ex over a very private matter and if exposed could potentially harm the lives of good friends? I had nearly 50-50 custody of the kids, but if I didn't concede to the full child support she wanted, not only would she fight the time, but also told me to prepare my friends for a shitstorm. Because she was going to expose something I told her, because she was my wife and I told her everything, not thinking she would ever use things against me like that. So I don't know what kind of things, she has that could potentially cause the harms to the life of your friends. But at some point, you're going to have to make a choice, right? You're going to have to decide if your relationship with your children is more important and your time with them is more important than, whatever your concerns are as it relates to your friends. Now, if this is something obviously that could physically harm your friends, then you're going to need to seek professional help for that specifically. But if this is something that could be, just you've got some secrets, I don't know. I've got a whole bunch of ideas in my head of the different things that could potentially, be kept by your wife right now because she's, basically influenced you, or your ex-wife influenced you and encouraged you and convinced you to do whatever she says so that she won't reveal these secrets. But depending on what it is, at some point you might just need to sit down with your friends, have a conversation with them. If they're your friends, they should be able to understand. And the reality is, if there's a lot of impropriety that has been surrounding your life anyways, it's going to come to the light. Like everything, we all know the saying, everything in the dark comes to the light. And you're going to essentially be harboring that and holding that in for however many years are left until your children are 18. And then even still, once they turn 18, who's to say she's not going to reveal it then? Or who's to say that even though you decided to agree and follow whatever she's demanding, who's to say she's not randomly just going to wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm tired of keeping this secret and I'm going to tell everyone. So you don't want to have that hanging over your head for the rest of your life. So at some point, we all have to be adults and you have to, accept accountability for your part in whatever the situation is and be willing to have a conversation with your friends so that you can, get it out of the way, prepare them for whatever is going to happen or could potentially happen so that you can have the relationship that you want to have with your kids and the time that you want to have with them. Otherwise, you're going to be paying additional support that may or may not be justified. And you're losing out on time with your children, all because you don't want a secret to get out. And that's not good for your kids. And that's not putting your kids first. So that's my suggestion to you. You need to prepare to let the secret out yourself so that you don't have to, have that hanging over your head for the rest of your life. And the final question that I'm going to go over today is something that was submitted on my YouTube channel. If you're not already following me, make sure you follow me on YouTube. I am Marissa V. Grayson on YouTube. I have tons of videos on all things divided, blended family, family court system. But anyways, question number 3 is, my son's father has been holding my son from me, even if we have a parenting plan in place. He always has to control and do things on his terms, so I finally filed a motion for contempt. Now my son is starting to get alienated from me because he hasn't been seeing me, and his father is saying bad things about me. What kind of resolution can I ask the court for? How do you deal with a difficult, high conflict parent and set boundaries? So this is a very common situation that happens all the time. Unfortunately, sometimes one parent will decide that they're going to, alienate the other parent from the child. And though in many situations, or most situations that I handle, it's actually reversed and it's the mom that's alienating the child, I completely understand and know that fathers are guilty of this as well. So firstly, I'll say that it's a good idea and it's good that you actually took some action and filed a contempt action against him. One of the things that you have to understand is that a contempt action is essentially, depending on where you live and what your state laws are, contempt actions aren't necessarily the same as family court actions. So if it's actually a separate action, in order to get the remedy that you may want, you may actually have to file some kind of request in the family court to request that the parenting plan be modified to include some of the things that you want. But some of the things that you can specifically ask the court for in a situation like this is, one, that all of your custodial exchanges take place at a neutral place, whether that be a public place or whether that is a police station. And that's just to ensure that there's no drama that pops off between you and the other parent. One of the most important things that you should request or can request is that your child, if you feel like your child is pulling away from you because of the things that they're being told by the other parent, you can request that the court order that your child be able to go to counseling, specifically reunification counseling, where you can participate, the other parent can participate if the therapist thinks it is necessary, and it will give you the opportunity to have, the safe space to communicate with your child and for your child to have that outlet. And the therapists are usually trained to help re-engage you with your child so that they can understand that, the things that they've been told about you and the things that have been going on aren't necessarily, indicative of what their relationship with you should be like. So enrolling or involving a third party is always a good idea in any kind of high conflict situation. Your child probably needs counseling anyways because of the separation between you and the other parent and all of the drama that happens between the two of you. We don't always realize how much that takes a toll on our children. So therapy is definitely a great idea if you are in a high conflict situation. Otherwise, you can request that the court put some kind of stipulation in place or punishment, so to speak, in place if your child's father decides that he's not going to follow the court orders anymore. If you are able to hire an attorney, you can request that, he be responsible for paying your attorney's fees because of the fact that you had to hire one to enforce your court orders and things of that nature. So there are a bunch of different remedies that are available. Make sure, if you have not already watched my video where I talk about if your child's mother will not allow you to see your children, it's on my YouTube channel, and that applies both ways. It can apply to dads, it can apply to moms, it can apply to grandmas and aunties if they are the ones with custody. So make sure you check that video out as well, because there are also some additional tips in there also. And then finally, if you are not already a part of my email list and have not done my Child Custody 101 training, make sure you visit me at my website, familycourtacademy.com/Child Custody 101. All right, guys, that's it. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in to Talk to Me Tuesday. I will see you next week. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer, feel free to drop them below this video or shoot me a DM or an instant message, depending on which platform you're on. I am on Instagram. I am at Marissa V. Grayson. That's Merissa, V as in Victor, Grayson, Grayson. I'm also on Facebook, Marissa V. Grayson-esque, as in Esquire. And I am on YouTube, Marissa V. Grayson. So I will see you guys around. If you have any questions, make sure you submit them to me before next week on Tuesday. And I will see you next time.